Okay, awesome, awesome.
Just the 12
All right.
drivers tonight.
Well, oh, good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Ero F3 Hungarian Grand Prix. My name is Elliot Parker, and I'm joined here with.
You are joined by Joe, who I race normally in Tier 5, but I'm helping out at the moment in some comms. It's nice to be alongside you, Elliot.
Nice to be alongside you as well as we wait for the first person to head out. It looks like we have somebody heading out now. That is an Alpine, I think it is.
Yeah, the McLaren
Oh,
on track 2.
we've already had somebody lag out. That's amazing.
There we go. Sorry, I had no game sound.
Oh,
It's all
that's not
sorted now.
good.
Now we're all sorted. A nice dry qualifying. Didn't have that luxury on Monday. Well, no, what day is it? Um,
Well, I really do
F03.
wish it was a wet race all the way through. Would have helped with my pace, but
Did you have a wet setup on?
oh no, I don't have wet setups at all.
Oh, okay.
My dry setup is my wet setup.
I usually drop the
And
front
as
wings
you,
by a little bit and then go from there.
nope.
No, you just leave it as it is. Sod it.
Yep. Alright, as we get to see our first person start their lap. We have, what's his name again? Still trying to learn all the names of everyone.
I just go by their gamer tag. I have no idea what their actual names are.
Very, very, very professional. I apologize. We have Caden Wellham.
He's used a lot of ERS already.
More people queuing up behind him on their outlap. We have Lockig. We have Dino.
What time are we expecting for a poll then, Elliot?
For pole, I want to say we're gonna get low 15s maybe, if not faster.
Yeah, I think maybe we'll creep into the 14s, but we'll have to wait and see.
Ooh, as we've had our first spin of the session, Banks. I'm guessing he had a moment on the exit of turn 5. As Somalian, 116.2. Good start, good start.
Still plenty more time to find though, I think. He ran a couple of corners wide, but he didn't invalidate.
We have more people coming through for their laps. And Yeast. What happened, buddy? He spun on the exit of the last turn.
Deary me.
We're getting more times coming in. Somalians 116.2 is still standing. Penzio and Reloaded have both gotten within a tenth of his time. And Yeast, yeah, that was his first lap. Unfortunate, very, very unfortunate.
Yeah, not a very competitive time, that 128.
Oh, and he's gone again. Oh man,
I think he's going to be heading back to the pits.
I get the feeling that Yeast does not like this track at all.
I think you might be right.
As Andrea sets a 117.3. Maybe I was too optimistic in thinking that we would get into the low 115s.
But Lockig set 2 fastest sectors so far, and that is a 115.8.
And there we go, 115.8. Now we're getting into business.
That's a bit better.
Lockig as fast as he usually is. I wouldn't expect any less.
Yeah, top of the tables now for the first runs. Couple more left us at a time. If you're still in the pits, I'm not too sure why they're still in there.
Banks at a 116.6. So as it stands right now, Lokic has a considerable pace advantage over the rest of the field.
Yeah, nearly half a second at the moment.
We have Edzak coming around the last corner on his hot lap, and he's going to set a 117.5.
There's a big pace spread across the field at the moment.
Yeah, this is surprising, honestly. I did not expect the pace spread to be this sizable at F3. At least not this week.
No, they were a lot closer together last week.
As I'm not sure if the rest of these three have set a hot lap yet. Mazzy, Crackshot, and Barry Kruger.
No, we're still sat in the pits at the moment. I'm not too sure what's going on with those guys. Looks like Edzak's run out of fuel. He's trying to get the car into the pits.
I don't understand how you run out of fuel. Unless he did unless he tried for 2 hot laps or 2 warm-up laps.
Yeah, possibly. There you go. He's going into the pits.
So we have
now.
Reloaded out on the track for his out lap. Not much action going on elsewhere in the field right now. We have Andreas coming out to the pits now. Penzio behind him.
Yeah, quite a short lap around Hungary, so you can afford to spend a little bit more time in the pits in between your runs. Here we go then, Reloaded about to start his lap. He's looking to beat a 1:15.8 at the moment. Let's see what he can do. Very early on the brakes into turn 1, but let's see if he carries a bit more speed because of it.
Looks like he's taking a very conservative approach to the first sector.
Yeah,
as he improves by 200ths.
I think he's going to need to go a little bit quicker if he wants to challenge for that pole position.
And now we have 2 more people on hot laps as well. We have Penzio, we have Andreas. Dino's about to be coming around across the line for his hot lap pretty soon. As Reloaded's 2/10 up on his sector time, setting a purple sector 2.
Yeah, it looks like maybe it's just sector 1 that's his real issue holding him back at the moment.
As he's looking to maybe be front row with this run. And he does. P2 for Reloaded, getting within 3/10 of Lockig.
Yeah, good time for Reloaded. Back to Pinzio. He is currently a 10th up in the first sector, purple sector as well. So there is a possible spin on the track there, or maybe he's just letting everyone pass and it looks like
That is Edzak. That is Edzak. Edzak has spun. And I can't really fault people for having these spins. Hungary can be quite the difficult track.
It is an easy track.
Andreas coming around the line, coming across the line for his hot lap, and he is going to set a 1:16.4.
And Pinzio then only 700ths away from Lockig's time, a lovely time for himself.
Yeah, Yeah, I missed that. Within a tenth of Lockett, the pace is finally starting to catch up with him.
Yeah, purple first and third sector. I must have lost a little bit of time in the middle one, maybe through the chicane.
Ooh, as we have Crystal, who's finally joined the lobby. He's probably going to match Lockett in pace. We have Yeast coming across the line for his first hot lap. He's set to 116.3.
Yeah, not bad for a first lap, but he's going to have to improve on that one a little bit as the times are getting quicker.
Track is definitely evolving. Track is definitely getting quicker.
100%.
But as it stands, oh my god, Lockiggs went faster.
15-7.
I was just about to say, Lockiggs should probably try to get a second run in just to secure that P1, and he's gone quicker by a tenth.
He's done exactly that. Banks just invalidated his lap, as has the McLaren, so he's gone straight back into the pits.
Same goes for Dino as well.
So easy to invalidate around here.
As Crystal is starting his hot lap, getting pretty early on the throttle in turn one.
Yeah, if you're running that medium traction control, you can get on that throttle nice and early, but he's gone wide
he's
there.
Invalidated.
Yeah.
He can probably get a second. He can probably get a second attempt in, depending on how much fuel he has. So it's not the end of the world for him. He has enough ERS to have a second run.
Yeah, he's just gonna have to get a bit more battery in there and go again. I think he's not got a whole lot of time to go into the pits and fiddle about. He hasn't set a lap yet.
We have Crackshot in for his hot lap. First attempt. He doesn't have a time on the board yet, so anything right now could be good for him. Just to guarantee that he doesn't start last.
Do you know how the order's decided if more than one person hasn't set a time yet? Oh, he's invalidated as well.
It just goes on. It just goes based on what you see on the quali sheet.
Okay.
As it stands right now, Barry Kruger would be last, Mazzy in 12th, who's rejoined after disconnecting. We have Crystal P11 and Crackshot P10.
Okay,
that's how that's how it would stand right now if none of these guys set another time.
Gotcha.
We have Andreas on a third out lap. We have Crystal giving it a second shot. We have Crackshot about to finish up his first attempt.
He invalidated as well, so I think he's going to be going again.
Yeah.
Same corner as Crystal, actually, or maybe the corner after. He's gone in. He obviously doesn't think he has enough
Andreas
ERS.
finishing up this lap with a 116.4, improving by a second.
I think Crystal's going to run
Unless
out
I
of
made a
ERS
mistake.
Here. His battery's looking
Crystal
low.
has enough to make it to the line, actually.
Yeah, 6%.
Just barely enough.
Hopefully that's not affected him too much as he's gone second.
By 5 thousandths, he beats Penzio's time.
That's incredibly
The gaps
close.
are definitely starting to tighten up.
Yeah, the drivers at the back of the field are going to be looking to set a time ASAP, I think. Track's definitely getting
Indeed.
quicker.
As Andrea sets a purple sector 2, 10th and a half up on his previous time. On his previous best, should I say.
Let's see what he can manage then as he comes around the last corner.
Gaining a tenth and a half on his time. Put some P6.
Couple more positions gained. He's going to have to be quick into the pits if he wants to. I don't think he's going to have time to set another lap now.
It doesn't look to be so, unfortunately. Edzak is starting his, what may be his last attempt. Reloaded, starting his last attempt.
Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on Edzak because he wants to improve on this time at 1:17.0, and he's not gotten much quicker in the first sector, but maybe he lost all the time elsewhere. I didn't see his last lap.
Let's see what he works with.
A couple of people are letting others through. That's good to see.
Does Barry Kruger have a qualifying ban?
I don't know, to be
I'm
honest.
beginning to wonder why he hasn't left the pits yet.
He races in Tier 4, doesn't he? So maybe he just wants to start out the back, out the way. I don't know, though. Not really too sure why he'd have a quali ban in this league. Heads up then over the line, he doesn't improve.
Well, when it comes to quality bans, it's more so about whatever's the next race you participate in.
Oh, okay. Well,
I've gotten a quality ban before because of a incident in F4, and I had to serve it in F5.
Oh, that's pretty bizarre.
That's how stewarding works.
Fair enough, but Edzak's not gone any quicker there. 160, well, he's gone 2 times quicker, but that's not moved him
Oh,
up
and
the field.
Pinzio's retired. Wait, whoa, what happened?
Turn 1 is that?
That's Mazzy and Pinzio gone. I need somebody with a view on him. What's happened there?
Yeah, it almost looks like one was coming out the pits and one was turning in on a flying lap, and the two came together, but I'm not too sure.
Well, that's unfortunate.
I think that one will be in the stewards if that was what happened. I think it'll be in the stewards anyway.
Indeed. Oh, and Yeast loses it in Sector 3. Unfortunate.
Disappointing. Oh, he's running a bit wide there.
And he's definitely got rear wing damage. Oh, that's not good. Ah, and he's disqualified. That's...
From bad to worse.
That is so unfortunate.
It's going to send him right to the back of the field.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Just a tenth of an improvement from Smiling Father, but doesn't see him move up the field at all. He'll be staying in P5.
As we see Dino coming across, no, he's going into the pits. Banks coming around the corner, last turn.
See if he can
And
improve a little bit wide.
Oh, he's barely gotten it. And a 116 too. Moving up into P6. Any more improvement? We have Lockett coming across the line.
He's invalidated, he won't be improving. I think that's everybody.
I think that is everybody. So that leaves Lockett with a 10.5 advantage on quality time, getting pole. So
Yeah,
congratulations to him. He'll be getting 1 point. Looking at our grid, we have an Aston Martin front row lockout, Lockett and Crystal. We have Penzio P3, Reloaded P4, Somalian P5, Banks P6, Andres P7, Crackshot P8, Dino P9, Edzak P10, Mazzy P11, Barry Kruger P12 with no time, not finishing qualifying last because Yeast unfortunately got disqualified. So it looks like based off the report from one of the drivers, we're going to be dry for the entirety of the race.
Keeps it nice and simple, an easy strategy then. One stop, probably starting on
Indeed.
those mediums.
Honestly, I feel like maybe hards may be a bigger advantage unless there's an early safety car.
To wait and see what the drivers are deciding then.
That's three, four, five red lights for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and we are underway.
A
As there is
drive-through.
chaos already, we have a drive-through penalty. We have somebody that did not get a good start off the line at all, Andreas. We are off to an amazing start.
Brilliant start for Reloaded. He's up into the lead
Getting off.
already.
Oh my god, all the chaos out the back of the field. I didn't even realize that. Reloaded with an amazing start. As he's side by side with Locking, going into turn 3. Please don't contact, and we're good. Awesome. As he is pulling off fast now.
Yeah, Lockie wasn't letting that one slide off the line, and he wanted that position back, and he's managed to get it.
Indeed, indeed.
A disconnection for Pinzio. Hopefully he can get that one sorted.
Now let's see, is there anyone that considered the possibility of a two-stop?
Everyone's on the medium or the hard tyres. I'd imagine it's going to be the one stop for most people around here. So you have a yellow flag. I'm not too sure what it's for. A couple of drivers in the pits. Obviously some damage at the beginning of the race. Pack 4 drivers all in the pits.
Henzio's finally back.
Somalian is going to retire in the
Somalian's
pits.
retired in the pits. He most likely had rear wing damage. I don't blame him. Rear wing damage is so painful in this game.
Yeah, you just can't finish the race if you've got rear wing damage.
Indeed. So judging on how it's looking now, everyone, no one's gone on the soft tires. We have Banks, Mozzie, and Yeast and Barry Kruger all on the all on the hard tires. Everyone else on mediums.
Yeah, very split strategy. Obviously, as undecided as we are in the commentary box, then, as what's the best strategy?
Honestly, if everyone's going for a one-stop, either or could work. It could really be dependent on pace. I say that there could be a big favor going on for the hard tire drivers.
Yeah, we'll just have to see if they
Being
can keep
able to
up on
pull
the
out of
pace. The only problem for now is like the likes of Banks. He's losing a second a lap here at the moment on those hard tyres, and if that carries on too much, that'll add up to a little bit too much of a deficit, and that hard tyre will not be the optimum strategy.
Well, as it stands right now, it doesn't look like the front 3 are going to be battling too much. They've started to regulate their gaps a little bit. Not too much growing. Crystal has dropped out of DRS range and reloaded, however.
Yeah, they're looking pretty stable at the front, I think.
Looking at the rest of the field, we have another bit of a short train forming up between behind Mazzy. We have Crackshot and Yeast right behind him. Crackshot goes wide.
Yeah, I think he wants to get past Mazzy as quick as he can on those medium tyres. He keeps pulling right up behind him, but he just can't find a way through at the moment.
Well, it looks like he's going to have a chance to get it done right now with DRS.
Let's see if he can get the move done, but the car head's going to have DRS as well, I think.
But yes, Mazzy does have DRS. I did not notice that he got within a second of Banks.
Teammates there, maybe he's sort of keeping him in touch so he doesn't get caught. He's lost another second that lap then again, there's Banks.
If that's the case, that's amazing teamwork from them. Amazing strategy.
Yeah, sort of if Banks knows he's not going to catch Crystal, then he's going to be trying to help his teammate along, I think.
Meanwhile, Lockig is starting to break the DRS of Reloaded. He's pulled out that 1 second gap as he needed to. It's 1 second and growing, and if Reloaded slow down enough, we can probably see Reloaded having to defend from Crystal. And if that happens, that's pretty much Lockie's race to lose.
Yeah, after that start, they've made amends nicely and got back into the lead. And like you said, out of that DRS zone, but I think Mazzy is out of the DRS of Crack, so he could be looking for a move here. He's going to stay on the inside, a tight line through into turn 1, but he's going to get that position. And I think Mazzy's going to be able to do too much about it. Maybe he can, round the outside, not much space given. The DRS is going to go to Crack, but Mazzy's going to send it up the inside anyway, and there is a little bit of contact.
Wow.
But Crack has kept that one ahead, and that will be P5 for himself.
Amazing move from Crackshot. On top of the stories that we've had, Dino, he had an incident as Andreas retires in the pits. Dino had an incident on the exit of turn 5.
Unfortunately, that would be a race over for himself then.
Indeed it is. And he's retired in the pits as well. So we are already into the guaranteed point zone. If you finish the race, you will get points.
All the more incentive to stay out with a broken rear wing from now on then.
Indeed it is.
Yeah, Crack is looking really quick. He's pulled a second gap to Mazzy already in that one lap on those medium tyres. He's going to be looking to get up in the top 4, I think, soon.
And Penzio had desync, apparently. It's unfortunate.
Sad times.
As we're looking up back to the front of the grid, it has happened, finally. Crystal has gotten within a second of Reloaded. And there's an almost 7-second gap behind him, so it's more so just a battle in the podium for second place now.
Yeah, these three looking really quick out the front. Don't know if it's the hard tyres of Banks or just pure pace, but a big gap forming down between those 4.
Yeah, I've seen this before in F4 from Crystal and Lockig. They are both very fast drivers. They're just in a league of their own most of the time when I look at their races.
I think P3 is going to be P2 in a moment then. We're just trying to break the toe.
Dive into the inside to try and break the toe. He's going to play it safe because he's got another DRS zone to get the move done.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's got a lot of downforce on that car then, because he's not the quickest in the straights. I thought he would have made that move, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it looks to be that Reloaded may be using a lower downforce setup for this track because the DRS is not really helping Crystal that much.
No, not at all.
Which is honestly smart. Oh,
but
Cracks,
so
yeah,
hard to,
all over the back of Banks now.
it's so hard to overtake round here. Sort of, if you've got that straight line speed, as long as you start ahead of the other person, then you can defend from them quite easily.
Yeah, that's what I was actually just about to say. It's a very smart strategy from Reloaded, playing a defensive game.
You're just gonna have to go careful on the pits, what lap he pits on, sorry. Because I think Crystal will be going for an undercut if he can't find a way past anytime soon.
Oh, Crystal got a little bit loose on the exit. That is not going to help his case on getting...
No, not at all, and Crack's not going to be able to make a move on the straight either. Looks like that DRS is not that strong.
It could very well be depending on who's running lower down for a setup and who's running higher.
Yeah, possibly a bit of both today.
Because based on what I've seen in F5 and F4, DRS can be pretty strong around here if everyone's using a similar setup. An extra 10 to 12 kilometers an hour based on what I've seen.
Yeah, if you're going that much quicker, then you'd like to think there'd be a move being made, but it doesn't seem the case at the moment, so maybe it's just down to setup at the moment then.
Right, right. Definitely not the strongest DRS in the on the calendar right now. There's much stronger elsewhere. Tracks like Brazil, tracks like Abu Dhabi, but having DRS at Hungary can be a big benefit.
See that
Crystal gets a better exit compared to last lap.
Yeah, and Reloaded with
be
no
all
ERS,
over
but
the
a
back,
crash.
and Mazzy
Yeah, Mazzy has
has
crashed.
gone off.
And he will be
And
out.
that's not going to be a safety car, not even a VSC.
No,
And we
but
go
side by side
with Reloaded and Crystal. Crystal's up the inside, sends it, and that's P2. A little bit of contact, but there we go.
And Crack
Now
going for a
let's see
move
if
on
he's
Banks
able to-
as well. But he couldn't quite make that one stick.
And now with that higher down for a setup going into Sector 2, let's see if Crystal's able to pull out a gap in clean air.
I think into turn one, Cracked had got ahead of Banks, but he'd gone a little bit too deep with that higher speed, and it let Banks back through round turn 2. So Crack's going to be frustrated for a little bit longer, I think. He's got no ERS to work with neither.
Compared to Banks, who has a 70% battery, conserving ERS very well.
Yeah, maybe a little bit concerning for Crack.
Yeah, this is not necessarily a track that's good for burning ERS on. It's not really all that easy to get it all back.
No, harvesting round Hungary is a difficult task. No really heavy braking zones around here.
Indeed.
Just about turn 1, and that's really it.
The only other one I could think of is that third to last turn, that 90-degree right-hander in Sector 3.
Yeah, but even still, you can still carry a lot of speed through there. It's not a heavy braking zone. But
Right,
it's
not
about
as
the
much
other
as turn
heaviest.
1.
No, it really is a difficult track to harvest on. A lot of medium speed corners going into heavier braking zones, but you've already got that slower speed, so you're not harvesting too much. But a mistake there from Banks, and that's going to allow Crack around the outside. A little bit of contact, and he's gone wide into the grass, and a contact with a car behind as well. His teammate, and Yeast is out. And a safety car.
And
then.
that's a safety car. And that's gonna shake this up a lot. And this is gonna work wonders for the people on mediums, because now they can switch to the hard tires and run the rest of the race. This is terrible for our last two hard tire runners left.
Yeah, this
This
is
this
not
is
good.
completely ruining the strategy for the hard tires. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier. If there's an early safety car, the hard tire runners are screwed.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Barry stayed out. The other two have... Oh, he's left the session even. The other two have pitted for another set of hards.
He's had a bit of a disconnect right there. And we're down to 8 runners now. 8 runners. Lockig's already caught the safety car, which is not... That is not an ideal situation for Lockig.
No, he's not pitted.
Unless he was already ahead of the pit entry beforehand. Which,
Yeah,
if that's the case, that is very unfortunate for him.
Yeah, that could be possible. This is going to really hamper his efforts here. It's going to fall right down the order.
Yes, because he needs to box. He needs to box.
He's almost trying to force the safety car around a bit quicker, right behind it. But this is not good for Lockig at all. Going to hand Crystal the lead of the race.
He's going to drop tag at minimum P5 here. Maybe P6 if Crackshot gets to the line in time.
I think he has
to get into the line. He has to get in there as fast as possible.
Yeah, I can't blame him. He's gonna. I think he might even fall to 7th or 8th here. He's gonna fall right near the back of the grid.
Let's hope he doesn't need to repair his wing either.
As long as he didn't hit the back of the safety car, he should be fine.
Yeah, come on, get. Awesome. Fast stop from him. He may be able to beat the Crackshot. No.
He's gonna be just behind him.
Unfortunate.
At least he's not on the back, but he's gonna be disappointed about that one.
Indeed. Oh man, that is so unfortunate for Crackshot. So unfortunate. Not for Crackshot, for Lockig. My apologies.
Oh, good. Yeah, disappointing that he was looking quite comfortable at the front. Maybe
Indeed.
he had some pace, so maybe he can climb his way back towards the top. Have to wait and see.
So now with everyone on the same tires, oh, Barry! Barry's a big winner from this because he stayed out on his hard tires. And if I remember correctly, he started on the mediums, right?
I'm not too sure. Did he have to? Was he one of the ones who had to pit for a broken front wing on lap 1? So
I think he was. I think he was. Because if that's the case, depending on how he can manage his tires, he may be in a really good situation right now.
Yeah, I think he did start on those hards though, because he's done 11 laps and this is only the 12th lap now, so this will be the 12th lap on those tires. So I think he is going to have to pit at some point.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what Banks tries to do though. He's on those medium tires and he might have to come in again.
If he does make another pit, it'll most likely have to be for softs or mediums, should I say, unless he can manage the mediums very well. I wait to see when Crystal goes. He's going to go for a pretty late start.
Yeah, not a great start from himself, and he's going to look vulnerable down the straight. Banks making a move on Barry, as we say. And that will be P3 for Banks.
Yeah, Banks is gonna have a decent pace advantage going into this, going into these first couple of open laps after the safety car. So it'll be interesting to see how he handles getting around Crystal and reloaded.
Whoa! Sorry, side by side, Lockig and Barry almost contact there.
Barry's playing it smart, playing the long game. Letting Lockig get ahead.
Yeah, he's playing it safe. No point in battling with him.
Some turns you do not want to go side by side through. Turn 4 is not one of those.
No, they were side by side through the corner before as well, and that was ended in tears. So I dread to think if they had gone side by side through the following corner, what would have happened.
As it stands right now, Reloaded is Not able to shake Banks yet.
Those medium tyres, he's looking quick.
Indeed he is. Definitely got a better grip on those fresh mediums. If he can stick it within half a second. Oh, crack shot.
Yeah, that's in the
Oh, he's
pits. I think
retired
he
in the
had
pits.
damage.
Yeah. Unfortunate for him, as we're down to 7 runners.
Parry is all over the
I'm
back
gonna be
of
honest,
Pinzio, but he can't make a move.
I'm gonna be honest, this is not how I expected this race to go.
The driver's really struggling around Hungary.
Indeed they are.
Almost half the field now then are out. 6 drivers, 7 left on track.
I'm gonna ride on board with Banks for my POV as he goes wide. Not sure if that's gonna get a warning or not.
Now the game doesn't tell you warnings, just if the penalties come up.
Yeah. Which, surprisingly enough, no one's got the 3 second yet.
No, not many at
So
all.
for the most part, everyone's adhering to the. For the most part, everyone's adhering to the track limits, which is good.
Yeah, it's an easy track as well to run a little bit wide or take a corner a little bit too tight and pick up a warning. So they're racing cleanly.
Indeed, it is. Looking down the rest of the field, Edzak's sticking up close to Barry Kruger.
It looks like we spoke a little bit too soon about penalties as Pinzio picks up the first 3 seconds of the evening. Such a small field. That's
I
going to be costly.
I alluded to Barry managing his tires properly before. I'm not sure if he's handling those tires well. He's dropped to P6 now. He could very well drop to P7 if Edzak gets the best of him. As we're coming around for the first DRS straight of the race now after following that safety car.
Yeah, I think Barry's going to have
Let's
to
see what
come to
happens
the
at the
pits
front with it. As Lockig is close to the back of Banks now.
That's who I'm riding on board with. Reloaded's not going to make a move, and I don't think Lockie's going to make one either. Both Aston staying where they are for now then.
Yeah, honestly, aside from these two Aston Martins or this AlphaTauri who have the best pace here by a long shot, I would not recommend people fight right now. Everyone that finishes this race is gonna get good points.
Yeah, nothing you want is a mistake and no points.
Exactly. At the minimum, I think right now it's what, 6 points for P7?
7th place, yeah. Some decent points, regardless of how well you perform in the race. Then.
Exactly. Like honestly, if I was somebody like Edzak or Pinzio, I just play it easy. I wouldn't even try to pass people.
No, you just want
because as it stands right now, it looks like Barry may come in for a second stop.
Yeah, well, I think he's
got to. It does not look like he's having fun with those hard tires.
I think
Speaking of making a second stop, it looks like Banks is not having the best of time on those medium tires. He's starting to fall off the back of Reloaded a bit. Not to mention that he's still got Lockig on his heels.
Yeah, I think Lockig's just biding his time, waiting for Banks to fall out of that DRS zone. And then he'll snap that position up really quickly, I think.
Indeed. Crack shot leaves the session. Unfortunate for him. A lot of people having just very terrible situations.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he had damage on the restart, but he came in the pit straight after that safety car, and he called it a night.
As the front five is starting to turn into a typical Hungarian Grand Prix in a DRS train. Barry Kruger 4 seconds back now. Edzak 1.6 seconds back.
Yeah, these
Unless
drivers aren't looking that
somebody
quick.
spins. I think this is our finishing order.
Possibly there's a little way to
Well,
go yet.
minus Banks. Banks is still gonna have that have to make that second stop because he cannot go to the end on mediums as it stands right now. So he's probably gonna be one of the main people hoping for a safety car now.
Yeah, I think you're right. Pinzi was sort of catching up to the back of Lockett because he can't go any quicker with the cars ahead of him. But he's carrying a 3-second penalty, so it'll be interesting to see if he's going to bother fighting for that position or not.
Indeed. As it stands right now, he'd minimum finish P5. P4 actually, once Banks makes his stop.
Yeah, he just needs to sort of keep the car, like you said earlier, keep the car in one piece. He knows the people he overtakes, he's not going to keep the position on, so just sort of stay behind them and hold position. I think he's going to want the points rather than a retirement.
Right, P4 is honestly a really solid result, no matter what the circumstances are.
Yeah, 100%. There's no point ruining that at all.
Exactly. Like I said, it's a DRS train right now, so barring something happens to Penzio, it should be pretty easy for him to stick to the back of Lockig for a little bit. Speaking of Lockig, he's starting to decrease that gap on Banks a little bit.
It's just so hard to follow around
Within
here.
3/10. Yes, it is. This is one of the biggest dirty air situations on the calendar as Barry has spun. Those hard tires are finally starting to give up on him, it seems.
Yeah, he's going to have to come in the pits and ditch those, I think.
Indeed he is. Hopefully Edzak didn't get caught up in that.
I can't see any damage on his car, so I think he's okay for now.
Let's see, will Barry come in? Yes, he will.
Yeah,
If
can't
I were
blame him.
Barry right now, I'd box for a set of mediums.
Yeah, those softs won't go 15 laps. He's going to have to put some mediums on. Maybe that's what he was hoping to get to that crossover, so he could get those softs on and go a bit quicker, but the mediums it
Probably
will
get
be.
a fastest lap.
Yeah, he might pit for that anyway then, towards the end of the race. He's not going to lose any positions if he pits anymore.
Right.
So some extra points for a fastest lap wouldn't be too bad. I don't know who's currently holding the fastest lap, it doesn't tell me.
Yeah, same goes for Edzak as well. He could potentially, both of these guys in 6 and 7 respectively, could theoretically box lap 32 or 33, get the fastest lap point out of the way.
Yeah, neither would lose a position if they did so, but I think that gap between Barry and Edzak might start to drop by the time they get to that lap, so Edzak's going to have to do it soon if he wants to. Because Barry's going to be quicker on those medium tyres.
I mean, as quick as he is, that's still a 26 second gap, almost 27 actually.
Yeah, he's only going to close into sort of 20 seconds though, that pit loss time, and then it won't be beneficial for Edzak to pit.
Exactly.
As you said, these
I'm gonna
front
check
runners
back
then.
up at the front here.
Yeah, still stuck in the same situation. Lockig's the closest to the driver ahead, but he just can't quite find a way past Banks. He's waiting for a mistake here, I think.
Honestly, I think he's waiting for Banks to eventually pit.
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it?
He knows those tires can't go to the end. Same for Banks. So I think it's more so an issue of waiting for him to say, okay, I've had enough of these medium tires. I'm gonna box for potentially softs, which are definitely in the picture after lap 24.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Those mediums are just not going to last, and if he tries to take them to the end, it's going to be a brave move from himself.
Indeed.
Let's see then, he didn't get a very good exit out of here, and this could allow Lockig. No, it's just not, the straight line speed is just not there. With everyone having DRS, it's just so difficult to get past anybody.
Right.
Even with almost 4 attempts lost in that final corner, he just still pulls away on the straight. And Lockig, who was leading, is now all the way down in 4th place, unfortunately, due to that safety car.
It's really unfortunate for Banks. That safety car really screwed up his race. He could have gotten a P4 or a P3 depending, but now once he makes his stop, he's probably going to drop to P5, maybe even P6.
Yeah, I think he will fall down to P6, but Barry Kruger's just set the fastest lap then on those brand new medium tyres. And he is closing that gap up to Edzak, so Edzak's not going to have that gap to pit into, so he's going to have to just stay out on track. And he won't be able to challenge for that fastest lap unless Barry is to pit again and go for a quicker lap. To wait and see what he does when Banks pits, because Banks might come out on the softs himself, and he'll be setting a quicker lap than Barry just set. So he might think again about pitting.
Right. Like I said before, the soft tires are definitely going to come into play around lap 25, 26 maybe. Where they may be able to go the rest of the distance.
Yeah, I think sort of eight racing laps is going to be the maximum those softs can do. It's heavy tyre wear around Hungary.
Depending on how you manage your tires, I could see a nice lap maybe getting pulled out of those soft tires. But anymore, and I think you'd start to go into puncture territory.
Yeah, they definitely aren't going to run more than sort of 9 laps, so he's going to have to wait a few more yet. But he's not looking too slow, although as I say that, Barry is retired in the pits.
What have you done, Barry?
An interesting one as to why he's done that. I don't really know why. He was guaranteed points, but he is from the tier below, so maybe those points don't really mean too much to him, and sort of driving around on his own at the back's a bit pointless, and he's called it a night then.
Wow.
That means no fastest lap point for anybody at the moment then as it stands, as he's out of the race. Barry, who was holding the fastest lap.
So yeah, it would be really advantageous now for Edzak to wait until about lap 30 and get onto those soft tires. Same goes for 100%, Banks as well.
Lockig's eventually passed then.
Finally gets passed by Lockig, who decides, oh, I'm going to take this position now.
Yeah, it looks like judging that gap.
Reloaded.
It looks like judging that gap. He fell out of the DRS zone, and those medium tyres are starting to wear now, and that's allowed Lockig to fly past.
And this gets Penzio back into DRS now, as he's already pulled out almost 7/10 on Banks, which goes to show you how much he's struggling on those medium tires.
Yeah, he's going to have to pit before the end of the race. He's not going to do another 11 laps on those, you don't think? Reloaded. He's gonna look for a move up the inside of Crystal. No, he's gonna play it safe here. Just can't close that gap down quick enough. Gets it almost down to 3 tenths by turn 2, but there's just not a lot of help, and there's not really anywhere to pass.
Doesn't have the downforce. Does not have the downforce to compete with Crystal right now.
No,
same situation that was happening before the safety car.
Yeah, only difference is they don't have Lockig in front.
Exactly. So instead of now being for second place, now it's a battle for the lead. And as it stands right now, he does not have the downforce to compete with Crystal into Sector 2. And that's where he's losing the most time.
No, and as well as that, Crystal's not used any RS. He's full. He's got a full battery, and Reloaded has got none at all.
I didn't even notice that. And Lockig's got almost half his battery.
Yeah, it's going to go from looking out the front to looking out the rear, I think, for Reloaded in the next couple of laps. Yeah, Banks then losing almost 2 seconds to the drivers ahead, and definitely those medium tyres are giving up on him, and I think he's going to have to call it a quits and jump in the pits. And slap on the soft tyres is definitely within range now, 8 laps to go once he gets in those pits.
Meanwhile, he's securing at least he's going to secure at least a P5 because he's holding up Pinzio really badly to where now Pinzio is not going to have any chance of catching up to Lockig in 3rd place.
No, I don't think he's going to find anywhere through until Banks pits. And like you said, he's being held up quite badly here. Banks does no ERS at all.
That just goes to show you how difficult it is to overtake.
Yeah, it's so hard to overtake around here.
If you're struggling for pace, you can just hold people up and guarantee that they don't make up any more places.
Let's see then, can he find a way past Pinzio? Gonna look to the outside of Banks. He's not quite alongside.
We saw the same thing happen a couple of years back. Oh, as that got a little bit loose coming on the last turn onto the pit straight.
He's gonna make it down the inside of turn 2. Pinzio is ahead then of Banks. A lovely move from himself.
Indeed. Now he's got nothing but clean air in front as he tries his best to catch up to Pinzio, or to Lockig, shall I say.
Yeah, he kept it hung around the outside, and he had that traction advantage on the hard tyres, and a lovely move from himself.
But yeah, I was just about to bring up the Hungarian Grand Prix from a couple of years ago in real life. How Esteban Ocon and Fernando Alonso were holding up the people behind them for a vast majority of the race and ended up getting good positions out of it.
Well, Ocon won that race, didn't he? And Alonso did a brilliant job of holding up Hamilton, and you could argue that he kind of almost won Ocon the race there, although Hamilton would have climbed through the field. No doubt, obviously there was damage to both the Red Bulls after the wet start.
Well, yeah, he would have definitely caught up to Sebastian Vettel and Esteban Ocon, but at the same time, you have to remember, like, look at what's happening now. No matter what the pace disparity is, it is very difficult to race around here. If you have even a basic knowledge of how to defend in a race, you can keep somebody behind for the entirety of a race. That's exactly what Esteban did to Sebastian in 2021.
Yeah, literally all you've got to do is just make sure you get a good exit on the final corner, and it is almost impossible to get around somebody.
Exactly.
No one's tried to risk or brave a move into the chicane. That's kind of almost the only other place to make a move, but it's a risky one if you go for a move into the chicane.
Right, you are on that. You gotta wonder whether Banks is gonna make that eventual move onto soft tires or not, or is he gonna try and take these mediums to the end, which I don't think would be smart from him.
Yeah, I think he's looking at that gap behind and he's thinking sort of, 16 seconds, I can take it nice and easy through here and get an extra position. Have to wait and see, but a puncture might ruin that if he stays out for too long.
Exactly. It's definitely not advantageous for him to be staying out right now. It's a very risky game he's playing.
Yeah, indeed, all for one position, and it is risky indeed. Although, if he does get a puncture, as long as he doesn't crash from it, he's going to lose that position anyway, so I guess he's maybe thinking he's not really got anything to lose here. He either pits and guarantees to go behind Edzak, or he tries to take them to the end, and if he does get a puncture, he'll just be in the same position, so maybe that's what his thinking is.
Right, but depending on where that puncture comes, it could mean, hey, Banks is getting lapped by Crystal, and now he's gonna have less of a chance to get that fastest lap when he eventually boxes onto softs.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. We'll have to wait. But he's not got many laps left to go, so I think he might be trying to take those mediums to the end.
Indeed. Ooh, as Crystal has a little bit of an oversteer moment.
Yeah, this gap's
Ooh,
not really changing too much.
He's starting to lag a little bit for me. Oh no.
A little bit wide there, yeah, and as I say that, 3 seconds. I was on board and it did look wide through there, and that'll be a 3-second penalty for reloaded, and that will put Lockig up into second place then as it stands.
Oh no!
I was on board with that one, and I was just saying that was looking a bit wide, and as I said it, the penalty did flash up on the screen. So both Astons now are just going to drive a nice, safe race then to the end of the race.
That's gonna be a Aston Martin 1-2 from Crystal and Lockig. How many times have we seen that before? Oh man.
Yeah, it's going to be that indeed. 2 Astons then, first and second, and you can't help but feel disappointed for Lockig. He's going to be happy with a second place, but that should have been maybe a first place if it wasn't for that safety car.
Indeed. Really ruined his race.
Luckily the recovery was excellent and he got himself back up to these top runners. But it's
now,
kind of
another thing I want to look at now. Penzio and Banks. Banks is just starting to fall out of that 3-second range. If he can get back within 3 seconds of Penzio, that'll be P4 for him.
Yeah, Edzak then into the pits. He's going to strap on the soft tyres and go for fastest lap, I think.
Yep.
And this will give Banks the opportunity then to pit, and I think he'd be silly not to take it at this point.
Indeed.
He's not going to stay within 3
he's...
seconds of Pinzio with those worn medium tyres, so he's got a free pit stop behind him.
He's got pretty much a guaranteed P5 now, unless he decides to pit.
Well, yeah, even with that pit 40 seconds behind him, he's going to stay P5, so he's guaranteed that. And I don't think the risk is worth staying out on, so I think we'll see him dive in the pits at the end of this lap.
Indeed.
Let's see. Yeah, into the pits he goes.
Smart man, smart man.
He might even benefit from an extra point out of this on the soft tyres and possibly a fastest lap.
Because judging off of qualifying, he's definitely got a pace advantage over Edzak on this track.
Yeah, exactly that. So then it could be a fastest lap point for himself as well as P5. A valiant effort though on those medium tyres. He took them a long way. But he had to pit. It was inevitable, I think, that one.
Yeah, and good job on tire management from Banks. not losing it on those old mediums.
Yeah, it's all good losing a few temps, but you can easily lose the car completely on those worn tyres.
Exactly.
And he's not done that.
But right on for Banks.
Yeah, Zach then with a purple sector, 8 tenths quicker than his fastest time. He's definitely going to be setting the fastest lap for now.
Indeed he is.
And Reloaded, he's so desperate to get past Crystal, but he just can't quite make it happen. He closes it down to 2 tenths by the first corner, but that's just not quite enough.
In my opinion, it wouldn't even be worth it to try
Oh,
and fight. Oh wow, he's trying to go around.
bit of lag from Crystal
Yeah.
there. A lot of lag from Crystal,
Oh
in fact.
God. I would be so scared to try and overtake him now if I was Reloaded.
Yeah, the concern will creep in, I think, with him jumping over the track like that.
Could be a possible internet warning, maybe?
Maybe, it does look quite poor. He's jumping across quite badly there.
Yeah, that is near unraceable right there. Like if I was Reloaded in that situation, I would just pull back a few tenths because I would not want to be side by side with him and then, oh hey, he's just gonna teleport across the track on me.
Yeah, that's the issue. Although I think Reloaded is going to be looking for a move actually on the straight rather than staying back. He's very, very close. By far the closest he's been so far. Only 2 tenths.
Ooh, he might do it.
He's going to use all his ERS. He's just going to run out.
Oh, and Lock is there too.
Oh, contact there and the lock kick.
Oh
no! Look, he's going to have to get his foot down here because of the 3-second penalty for Reloaded. He's going to have to stay inside that window.
And Banks sets the fastest lap.
Yeah, Edzak didn't even set the fastest lap on those soft tyres, which is quite surprising. But either way, Banks has gone quicker anyway.
It was probably Barry Kruger setting a very impressive time on those medium tires earlier in the race. Those fresh mediums.
Yeah, half fuel, fresh mediums, but half fuel. It definitely must have been a quick time he put on there.
And look at Reloaded just pushing Crystal through the second sector, almost.
Yeah, all over the back of him, and Crystal's used a lot of ERS to defend as well. He's on 20% now. He did have a full battery a minute ago. So really defense then for Crystal. It's just so hard to get a good run through that last corner in the dirty air.
Especially on old hard tires, as we're on the last lap of the race.
Yeah, Lockheed catching back up, which is good, so that 3-second penalty will still be within it. So we'll still get that second place after a little bit of contact with Reloaded. And you really think that's the last opportunity over them for Reloaded to make a position, and they will have to stick with second on track, third by the end of the race. Although saying that, Pinzio is very close behind. Although he's also got a 3-second penalty, so he doesn't need to worry too much about that one. Crystal's just got to make sure no mistakes then to the end of the line, no 3-second penalties, and P1 will be his. Same goes for Lockheed P2, if he can just keep it nice and steady to the end of the race.
Ooh, Reloaded had a little bit of moment on the exit of that turn. Come on, no mistakes in the last sector. It'd be a real shame to see somebody spin in the last corners of the race. We're gonna go on board with Crystal, who's had a barnstorm of a race, crosses the line, P1 to win the F3 Hungarian Grand Prix. Reloaded securing P3, Lockheed securing P2. Penzio getting P4 thanks to Banks and Edzak stopping. You have Banks with the fastest lap crossing the line, P5. And Edzak doing his best to keep a clean nose throughout the race.
Yeah, it just goes to show
Coming
it doesn't
around
matter
at
how
the
quick you
end.
are. It's where you finish and all the incidents on track over half the field out, and he'll still see himself in
All
P6.
the all the retirements on track led to him getting a P6, which is impressive from him.
Yeah, brilliant job from the drivers then who managed to make it over the line. Barry Kruger drove the day and he didn't even finish. Interesting.
And Reloaded, not happy with that 3-second time penalty.
I could feel his pain. I was in the exact same place in F5, and it does cost you.
Honestly, depending on how many warnings he got, he may be able to contest one of those. He may be able to contest one of those warnings, get his P2 back.
Yeah, I'll have to wait and see, won't he?
I'm gonna check race direction now for him. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4 warnings. So it's gonna be highly unlikely that he gets his 3 seconds removed.
Yeah.
Unless there was 2 warnings that just completely weren't his fault.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is
Could
lap 3 and 4, maybe a bit of battling, and that could have caused one of the warnings. But I think
indeed.
he's going to struggle to get that one removed, unfortunately.
Yeah, and GG to Penzio as well. Coming back for a P4 after that jump start at the beginning.
Yeah, well done to him, and also a bit of desync he said he had, so maybe that was the cause of the jump start. But P4 indeed, just outside the podium, not bad at all.
Not bad at all. Yeah, for the people that retired in the pits, you gotta feel like they probably made a bad decision if they didn't have rear wing damage.
Yeah, an interesting one, and it paid up for those at the front in the end, other than Lockig really, who got caught up at that safety car, but mostly made up for that.
Indeed. You gotta feel for Lockig on that one. That safety car comes out a few seconds earlier, he just might be in a position to win the race.
Yeah, you gotta feel that he was quick at the front, and a race win did really slip away from his belt there through no fault of his own. But a P2 and a P1 to his teammate, I don't think he will be complaining too much about that one.
Alright, so that was definitely a race of all time. I'm sure you and I both had so much fun watching.
Yeah, good fun. A lot of action, a few spins, a couple of crashes.
Plenty action.
Yeah, it was good fun. Good race.
Indeed. So with that being said, we have other races happening today. We have what, PCF2, PSF2, right?
I'm not too sure, in all honesty, who's racing. I know PlayStation F2 is racing actually. Yeah, I did see. Maybe PC as well. I don't know.
Alright, so by all means, if you've enjoyed this race, we should have more action today. 2 other tiers. And then join us tomorrow for PC and PSF1. And I think we're good to sign off there.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Elliot, today.
No problem at all. I've been Elliot Parker. This has been Joseph Hearn. And I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day.
Yes, thank you for joining us, guys.